Good morning. I wanted to reach out to you and share a little bit more about our upcoming Puerto Rico trip. And knowing that you're very busy, we figured this would be more convenient than trying to meet in person. So our February trip to Puerto Rico is a very unique one for our Chamber's Global Familiarization Program. Typically, we travel to major U.S. trading partners that our travelers may not be as knowledgeable about or may not feel comfortable visiting on their own, like our upcoming 2020 trips to Russia and India. Puerto Rico is different, though. It's a place most people associate with a tropical, relaxing vacation, and generally we think they feel pretty comfortable traveling to the island on their own. But our trip is going to be focusing on areas of the island's workforce, its culture, and attractions that most tourists are not exposed to. So the idea of taking Chamber members to Puerto Rico, it came about actually through the Community Concierge program. I had heard from various community partners about the number of Puerto Ricans who had relocated to our area following Hurricane Maria. And then anecdotally, we were told about those who returned to the island because they didn't feel welcomed here or at home in Iowa. So we're really ramping up the effort to recruit from Puerto Rico now, thanks to a partnership between Avance Alliance, the North Iowa Corridor, and us at the Mason City Chamber. So we organized this trip in February to help our employers like you better understand why we're recruiting from Puerto Rico, what life is like for workers on the island, and ultimately what we can all do to increase the likelihood that these families will stay in Iowa after they move here. So what I just wanted to touch on with you in this video is why we're focusing our efforts on Puerto Rico. Now, first of all, many people may or may not realize, or it may slip their minds, that Puerto Rico is actually a U.S. territory. This means there are no immigration hurdles to jump through when you're hiring. So during our trip, we're going to learn a little bit more about the politics behind the territory status, and also about efforts by some to make Puerto Rico the 51st state in the U.S. Now, second, and the biggest one, is there's an abundance of highly skilled workers in Puerto Rico who really are struggling to find a career commensurate with their level of education. The current unemployment rate on the island sits around 9%. This is actually a historical low for Puerto Rico. Comparatively, in Iowa, our unemployment rate is 2.4%. So even if you think back to the Great Recession, Iowa's unemployment rate then topped out at a high of 6.6%. Now that is still more than 2 percentage points lower than the current historical low unemployment rate in Puerto Rico. And by the way, Puerto Rico's rate during the recession, it was nearly 17%. Now, because jobs are so difficult to come by, people in Puerto Rico, especially young professionals, are really over-educating themselves in order to have a competitive advantage. So 25% of Puerto Ricans right now hold a bachelor's degree or higher, and that is up from 21% in 2010. Something you'll hear about often on our trip is that you'll have times where there are BSN certified nurses, for example, who can't find a job in the field. The jobs just aren't there. And even though the education levels have increased, income levels remain incredibly low. The median household income in 2017 was $19,000. So again, for comparison, Iowa's was $56,000. Now, the third thing we want to touch on here, Puerto Ricans are often bilingual. Most actually grew up speaking both Spanish and English in their homes and in their schools, and this makes them incredibly desirable workers for many North Iowa industries like manufacturing, nursing, and those computer IT fields. Our final reason is something that we hope you'll see throughout our visit in Puerto Rico, and that's the people. The people on the island have the same values as Iowans do. They are family-focused, family-first people. They are faithful, and they prioritize their education. So we really believe if we can get them to move here and help get them connected in our community, they will feel at home here, even in the winter. So this just touches on a portion of what we expect to learn on this trip to Puerto Rico. Of course, we're going to have some fun on the trip. We're going to learn to salsa dance. We'll visit the only rainforest in the U.S., and we'll view the world's second largest telescope, which, by the way, was the largest telescope up until 3 years ago when China built a bigger one. This is also an opportunity for us to network with fellow industry leaders in North Iowa. The hope is when we return, we are all better positioned as a community to work together on this effort to recruit from Puerto Rico. We hear from our members time and time again that we need skilled workers, and this really is an incredible opportunity to grow our labor force. I'm excited for what this trip will offer, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give me a call. If you would like to register or view the itinerary, just click on the link on the screen. Thank you for giving me some of your time today. We hope to have you join us in Puerto Rico.